Happy Friday. I put some blankets on the floor to try to minimize the echo, but there might be a little bit of an echo because my office is practically empty. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Friday Coffee Chat. It's going to be a good one. There's Kelly. How are you doing? Baby mama, how's the baby doing? Hello, everybody. Miranda says, is it freezing all over the place? Oh, it's Rita. It is freezing all over the place. Who is having crazy weather? I saw somebody in the group said they're here because they got out of work early because of the weather. Oh my goodness. Michelle says, love your hat. I got a black one. So storytellers rule the world. This is from Ream, which we've talked about before, which is where I will likely be starting my subscription. And we do actually have lots of people in our Hardee's and Sarra Cannon community who have been starting their own subscriptions over on Ream. And if you are in my Discord channel, you can go down. I made a new channel in the Hardee's section. So if you have a Patreon or a Ream subscription or anything that you're running like that, like serialized stories or bonuses for fans, feel free to come to the Ream authors, even if you're just a Patreon author or something different, and hang out with us over there. And maybe we'll post some links to everybody's ones coming up. Let's see. I don't know what to wear anymore because it's so cold. Blizzard all weekend, 7 to 14 inches. I mean, I feel bad because I'm over here complaining about how it's going to be like 9 degrees here because nobody knows how to handle it. But 14 inches of snow, y'all, that I can't, I would say I can't imagine, but I can because I lived in Indiana and it was very horrifying. Oh my gosh, 3 feet of snow. Amber, what do you do to even prepare? It's going to be -30. No way. How do you even live in -30? I'm in Northern Ontario. It's -20 Celsius. Thank you, Rana. Loving the pink. 24 degrees Fahrenheit, but feels like 11. I'm not sure. It's warm here right now ish. It's 48 and it's supposed to get like on Sunday, I think during the day, it's going to be 60 degrees. And by that night, it's going to be 11 degrees. And I'm like, I don't even understand how the air can shift that quickly. And at first they were saying that it was not going to be snow or anything like that, but now there's snow in the forecast. So I'm like, okay, hey Jennifer, what are we going to do? What do we do? I don't even know what to do. So we have some groceries in case the power goes out. We have sleeping bags and we need to see if we can pick up some firewood somewhere because we do have a fireplace. But I don't know if we can even get firewood this late and close to it. So, okay, it's going to be so cold and it is going to be sub like 25 for like 3 days. So they're already anticipating that that school will be out on Monday and Tuesday. Monday's a holiday, but then also on Tuesday. So I'm like, okay, yeah, exactly. Kate says, write, read, and sip coffee, which I love that. Let's just take a moment to try to snuggle up and make the best out of it. Oh, my mom knows someone in Montana. They're getting wind chills -60s. You guys, I do not even understand. Last night we had rain, torrential downpour rain, and then it started hailing, and this was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And so it was just beating on the windows, which always makes me scared because we have so many windows. I'm like, please. Yeah. So drain your pipes or keep them dripping. We usually keep them dripping, open up all of the cabinets in the house. We have covers for all the outdoor like faucets and stuff like that. But other than that, I have no idea what to do. We are going to fill our car that uses gas with gas because they say you should fill your car with gas. I don't know. I'm trying to figure things out. Tornado watch too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we ordered, George and I don't have good sleeping bags, but we already had some for the kids. So we just ordered some and hopefully Amazon will deliver them tomorrow because I'm like, George is like, we can just pile up blankets, but there's a point at which blankets get too heavy. It's like, we just need a really good sleeping bag. So we'll see how it goes. It's going to be a cold weekend. We are not on well water, but filling up the bathtub is not a bad idea. Yeah. Makes the car heavier. I don't know how you guys handle the snow either. I hated it. When I lived, I think I've said this before, when I lived in Indianapolis, I lived in a building that was very inexpensive because it was the first commercial like housing in Indianapolis to get central heat and air back in the I don't even know what, like 1920s or something like that. And I don't know what year it would have been that they would have gotten that, but they were running off a boiler. And so it had a grant from the city for being like a historic building. And so all the residents there got free utilities. And so it was like $250 a month for a 1-bedroom place. It was like heaven that I got to live there. That was not in the safest area, but I loved that apartment. And my apartment, I actually got an additional discount on because it was right above the boiler room. So it was always hot. And in the summer, it was fans and all kinds of stuff. But in the winter, it was so nice. It would be snowing outside with like a foot of snow outside. I've got the windows open and I'm in shorts because the boiler was running. But I was like, hey, it's cheap and I'm happy to live here. So I am actually going to light a candle for us today, not only just to wish us all happy, healthy, safe weekend, but also this is a money drawing candle. And we're going to talk a little bit about some manifestation stuff when it comes to not just money, but for anybody who is hoping to bring in more money this quarter, this year. I had this candle in the room and I was like, I think I'll light that for our little group here. And so we'll just let money flow like the snow to bring it all in. Tia Marie says, how cold does Texas normally get? So Texas is such a huge state. And I think like once you get down to Mexico, you're gonna have very different answers. Oh my gosh, I just looked up and it was 222. I'll tell you in just a minute. More signs, keep coming. But here in North Texas, like last year, probably the coldest it got was maybe like 17 or 18. And that was just for like one night. So usually it's not this cold. Like usually we're in the 30s to 50s range all winter. And so for us to get down to like 9 or 10 is really tough. And negative 32 means nothing to me. I'm kind of like, what does that mean in Fahrenheit? Somebody tell me what that means. It sounds very cold. It's below freezing. That's all I know. Colder than it is here. But it's 233 here right now. But I wrote in my journal this morning, I said, just as a little wink from the universe, which if you were who here was on my Twitch stream last night? So I did very quickly put together my computer and my desk and everything so that I could be on Twitch last night because I really wanted to play Until Dawn for everybody. So we streamed for 3 hours. I think there were like between 30 and 60 people there. And negative 25. Thank you. God, negative 25? Negative 22? Are we serious here? That is so cold. No, that I could not. But anyway, there's a point where the guy goes, wink. We were kind of making fun of it. So I was like, okay, universe, I would like a wink from the universe today. And if so, let me look up and see 222 on the numbers. And now we are up to 241. But for just a split moment, I saw 222 and I was like, there we go. There it was, a little wink from the universe. Yay, Chris was there. It was so much fun. I had a really good time. Games like that are so fun. If you missed the Twitch stream, but you're kind of interested in watching it because it's just fun and we were laughing, it is up on my YouTube channel, or not YouTube, but my Twitch channel right now at twitch.tv/Sarra Cannon. And then, yeah, he goes, boing, yoing, yoing, yoing. I'm like, who says that? That's not a real life thing people say. It was so funny. But we will continue streaming that every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern time if you want to come join. It's just totally chill and funny. It's good. We're about to get into the really scary stuff, but we like to laugh our way through it. Angela was there, and she says, even if you don't watch. So Angela does not like scary stuff. So she was just listening. But we have to say big congratulations to Angela because her third Kickstarter, or her third book in her alphabet series for children's books, is up on Kickstarter and is already fully funded. I just placed my order today. I backed it today. So if you have young kids or nieces, nephews, anybody who needs good books for ABCs and so on, and they're learning to read, which my little one is, these are such great books. So that's C is for camping. All right. Today, we are going to talk a little bit about habits, routines, and manifesting because I have had, oh, okay, yes, Deb, I wasn't sure who that was. So, does that stand for Brooklyn Writer? Thank you for putting that connection together. Um, oh my gosh, I can't even see these numbers, y'all. I don't even know. How do you even go outside? Can you not go outside? Will you literally freeze to death? I don't understand. Okay. Anyway, so we've talked about on this channel before, we've talked about manifesting in terms of like rituals or beliefs and different things like that. But one of the things that has been on my mind a little bit now in terms of that idea of manifesting is also the action piece. Because I think it's part of what often gets overlooked for me because sometimes the action for me is very cerebral. It's like, okay, I want to sit down. I love that I have this desk here. My situation will be different next week, but for now I get to show off stuff here in the side of my desk. So cerebral for me is, I sit down, I think through it, even with my like limiting beliefs and my trauma and things. And I feel like, oh, this is holding me back. I sit down and I want to journal through it and I want to think through it and I want to do therapy and breath work and meditation. And I want to write about it in my journal or, take a long bath, or I want to visualize and put together my vision board. And those are the kind of things that I really like to do when it comes to, manifesting and getting your energy in the right place is a huge part of it. Don't get me wrong. But also, I'm seeing a lot of people talking, and this is not a criticism. This is just a conversation. A lot of people talking about like this is a soft girl year, or I'm in my soft year, or my soft era, or I'm giving myself lots of grace. And all those things are good. And I also am trying to give myself grace and try to not hustle. But at the same time, I am understanding for myself that I often spend a lot of time thinking through what it is I want, how I want to manifest things, what routines I want to be in. Like I can sit down and craft a morning routine like nobody's business. I'll sit down, I'll color code it, I'll get it looking good, and I'll redo it 4 or 5 times. Like, well, if I get up at 6:15 in the morning and that means I need to go to bed at this time, and I'll get it all figured out in my mind and my imagination. But then when 6:15 rolls around, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. And sometimes I will sit down. Obviously, I do get things done. I mean, I do show up for my plans, but at the same time, there's a disconnect there. There's a search in my mind and in my life right now for I want to find the balance of I know what I want. I know what I want my life to look like. And then I actually want to do it. I want to actually show up for it and make it my reality. And the problem part of it is that when I start to think about the action that I need to take, I'm romanticizing it in my head of like, oh, that'll be so nice. Cause when I think about, let's use working out as an example. When I think about getting up early to get on the treadmill and work out, it sounds so fun. It's like, oh, I'll get to wear my little treadmill outfit and I'll turn it on and I'll be listening to my audiobook and that'll be so good. Right. And then I also picture the outcome of having done it for 6 months or a year and how good I'll feel and how good I'll look and how strong I'll be and like 10,000 steps a day, like that'll be so good. And sometimes I can even envision myself writing down the tracking of those steps. Oh, 10,000 steps a day, 11,000 steps a day. That will be so good. And I can see how much energy I'll have. And I get really excited for that future. And that is part of the manifesting process, whether you want to call it manifesting or not. That's what I see as manifesting. And I can easily see how that is an important part of the process is the vision, the planning, the figuring out how you're going to fit it into your life and thinking about how it will feel once you've completed it and once you've got that habit going. But where the friction comes in is day one, you show up to do the thing, and it's not at all how you envisioned it would look. And no amount of manifesting is necessarily going to get you up an hour earlier than normal feeling good. The manifestation part of it is after you've had that habit for a period of time or after that routine, then you'll start to see those outcomes. But on day one, it's like the night before, you can see all the possibilities. But in the moment of taking the action, there's friction because there's this feeling of like, well, I don't want to do that. I'm tired. So, a little bit of personal information. Andrew fell in the bathtub last night. And that happened during my Twitch stream. And George didn't come get me. But after I got off my Twitch stream, I was up with Andrew for about an hour and a half just to make sure he didn't have a concussion because he had a bump on his head. And, like shower falls can be extremely dangerous. And it just had me completely like terrified and also super grateful, but like, oh my gosh, in a moment that could have been something really bad. And he was fine, but I didn't want to let him go to sleep until I knew for sure, like checking his eyes, asking him if he's nauseous, getting him to walk around, just giving him lots of comfort and everything else. And he is fine, but it was scary for a moment, right? But also I was up later than I intended to be. And of course, that is my priority 1000%. And I'm so glad he's okay too, because you hear horror stories and it's just like, yeah, thank God he's okay. But I was up later with him than I intended to be. Finally got to sleep somewhere around midnight, 12:30, huge storm, hail pounding off the windows. Something outside got turned over. It turned out to be part of our grill got turned over. So George had to go outside and check on it. I mean, it was just one of those nights. So when you're trying to establish new habits and you're like, okay, discipline, I'm going to do it this time, like motivation. I know I'm getting up tomorrow morning and I'm going to follow through with this routine. And there's a part of me that says, I need to follow through with that routine to prove to myself that I can do it. I just need the positive momentum. I need to know that I can trust myself and that I can follow through on what I said I was going to do because I've let myself down so many times. But then you make the perfect plan. Something happens to your kids. Something happens to your house. Something happens with the weather. Something happens with you can't sleep or you have insomnia or whatever happens in life. And then you get up the next morning or the alarm goes off at 6:15 a.m. and all these dreams of your future self aren't there to console you or motivate you. All you can think is, I need more rest. And we're told so often in this society, like two separate messages of like, you got to get it done. Hustle harder, those who show like the early bird gets the worm, like all those kind of things. And then we also have on the opposite side, a lot of people who have seen how that has burned them out and have said, give yourself grace, take your time, self-care. If you need rest, it's okay to rest. And both of those messages are valid at the same time. But where the friction comes in for me is if I spend my whole life waking up and realizing I don't want to do it and giving myself grace, then I'm never going to make that manifestation that I want my reality. So where do we end up, right? And I feel like sometimes it's a difficult conversation to have because there are so many nuances to it because we're all in different seasons of our life. And sometimes I think we need the hard message of get off your butt. You can't live like this. You've only got so much time in your life. It's time to get it done. And sometimes that's the message that we need. But sometimes that message is just us avoiding feeling the feels, right? And what I'm trying to figure out in my own life is how do I establish for me, when it comes to, okay, let's talk about a big goal, like, okay, I want to finish, like redoing all of Publish and Thrive like I did last year. It was right around, actually, it might've been today, a year ago that I started officially re-recording the course. And I knew it was going to be a huge job. Renee and I worked our butts off last year to re-record that course and get it edited and get it up and get all the podcasts and the closed captions and the transcripts and everything else. We were working so hard, But when I have a sprint of a goal like that, where I'm like, okay, I've got, you know, 6 weeks and I've got to do 100 videos, sometimes that is easier for me than, okay, I want to establish a routine of getting up at 6:15 in the morning. And it sounds like the early getting up early would be an easier thing than like the big project. But for some people it might be, but for me, I am such a big goals oriented person that let me think if I can explain this correctly and you can show me like if you anybody can tell me in the comments if you feel a similar way or if you feel differently. I think this is part of it. Thank you, Jennifer. The course, I'm so proud of how the course turned out, and I'm so excited to run it again. So the course, it's on my mind right now because the course opens next weekend. So yeah, it's incredible. And there's going to be a little bit of new content coming at the end of the course on AI and subscriptions and some other kind of updated things. But I do think part of it is because of this. There's an external deadline. I've already promised it. Sometimes that doesn't work. We've seen with me in pre-orders for books, but when it comes to certain things, it's the deadline, it's the fact that it's a short-term thing, it's a sprint. Like I know if I could just push myself for just this 6 weeks, I can get it done. And the reward is immediate. Like I'm going to make money, I'm going to affect people's lives, I'm going to be helping people. Like the rewards of that is enormous. But when it comes to rewards that no one externally will see, it's just for my own health. Now, if I had, this is where I wish that we had some kind of ability to see into a crystal ball where I could say, let me put in, maybe this is something AI will be able to do for us one day where we can it can be a good result of AI is let me put into a computer, if I start this habit today, what will my life look like in 5 years? And I could see a little video going by of me being like full of energy and, looking 5 years younger. Then I could see the long term of that habit. But in my head, even though I know getting up early and exercising every morning and taking all of my supplements, let's say for PCOS, even though logically I know that that eventually will lead to good things, the reward is not as like huge or immediate or fast incoming as the reward of doing a big project that is done in a week, right? Yes, come on, let's do it. Uh, um, so Holly says, I've read somewhere that psychologically we have an easier time with routines when we try to aim for a range of successes versus the exact number, like 3 to 5 days a week. I get up at 6:15 versus 5 days a week. I think there's truth in that for some people. And I think that there's trouble in that for some people, but I'd have to read the study. I wish productivity was one size fits all, but it is not. But I do think that part of it for me is with the big project. Again, I can see the outcome, I can visualize it, and there is a finish line. Like I can do this for so long, but I won't have to do it for the rest of my life. And maybe there's sacrifice, but there's also like I thrive on deadlines and things like that. So there's that push, and as long as I can push myself up that hill, it's really fun to do it. But when it comes to certain kinds of routines, and I was just using morning routine as an example, but it could be anything. This will be a strange one, but I will share it anyway, because this is just such a simple routine. But I don't know if I should share this. This maybe is a little bit weird. Anyway, I'm going to share it anyway. And if you want to laugh at me, you can. But as someone who has grown up as a very barefoot in the woods kind of person, like I grew up running around in the woods barefoot in Georgia, and my feet were always so calloused that I could literally just walk across like gravel and whatever, and it doesn't hurt my feet. And so my feet have always just been really tough, but not very like soft and pretty on the bottom of my feet. I know it's a weird thing to talk about, but this year I just made a decision that I'm going to try to make my feet pretty and try to do better self-care with my feet. And so for the past couple of weeks now, we're in almost a couple of weeks into January. Thank you for some other people saying same, because I'm like, this is such a weird thing to talk about, but I have bought some extra lotions, and um I have gotten one of those things that, like, like a pumice stone kind of thing. And I have been every single day working on my feet health, my foot hygiene. Sorry if this is grossing anyone out. I won't go into any more detail. And I've been trying to wear like slippers in the house instead of being barefoot as much. And those 2 weeks of consistent daily practice has made such a massive difference in my feet. 12 days. 12 days. But the only way that I was able to accomplish it was to, and this is going to play into manifesting, I promise. um, is because I didn't put a lot of pressure on it. It wasn't like, if I don't do this, I'm a bad person, or it wasn't like I need to do this or my health will be negatively impacted. I didn't put a lot of pressure on it. I just said, okay, I've made the decision that I'm going to take care of my feet. What tools do I need and when am I going to do it? So I bought a handful of tools, didn't really spend a lot of money, and have just decided that every night when I'm done with my tarot and I have my like CPAP machine figured out and everything's ready to go, I'm just going to do my foot routine before I go to bed. And so I sort of did what they talk about like in books like Atomic Habits, which is habit stacking. I said, okay, the trigger for this habit is as soon as my other routine for my evening is completed, which is already an established routine, I'm just going to keep my lotion right here by the bed and I'm going to do my foot routine at night right before I go to sleep. And that made it super easy. It made it low stress. And now it's made a big difference. Where some of the other problems with New Year's routines and sticking to them is yes, I do. So I was diagnosed with sleep apnea last year. I can't even remember when, maybe just before the summer. And so I've been using a CPAP machine for 6 months or so. And I feel like it's made a big difference for me. But it's taken a lot of time to get used to. But I think it has made a difference. But yes, I feel like where it comes to when I think about I want to manifest things in my life, some of the things that hold me back are, number one, I put so much pressure on myself because there's not just, so one of it is like when I think about my feet, I just can't believe I'm even talking about this. Maybe I should have come up with a different example. When I think about that, I don't think if I don't do that, it means something about the kind of person I am. It's just a desire that I have that I think will improve my life. When I think about my long-term goals and all the big things that I want to achieve in my life, it feels like pressure. And sometimes then when I think about the fact that I'm literally 11 days away from my 47th birthday, which is literally only 3 years away from 50, and all the things I want to be and do by the time I'm 50 years old, there's this, it starts to feel heavy. And when I put that energy into my manifesting, it feels like there's two tracks going at once. And one track is determination, clarity. I know what I want. I know who I want to be, and I'm going to do whatever it takes to get there, right? I'm going to do the rituals. I'm going to release the limiting beliefs. I'm going to lift my energy. I'm going to take the action that needs to happen. But the separate track, like the second track that I feel like is what creates the friction in the manifesting process, is because I put so much weight on it. Like I'm giving myself this big deadline of like by 50, and I'm trying to stack all these, like suddenly I'm trying to make a list of all the things I want to change about myself and my life. Oh my gosh, I need to be getting up earlier. I got to lose weight. I want to be taking care of this other thing. I need to be finishing books, and I need to I need to redo this course. I should be doing this other course. Why am I not making 7 figures a year? Like I could just add like 1,000 things, not even considering like, oh, I want to get the yard done. We want to add in a pool. Like there's all these things that I then start piling on to my manifesting process. And then it starts to become really heavy. And I start to feel like if I can't get up at 6:15, how am I going to get all these other millions of things done for myself? So I don't know if that is resonating with anybody, but I have been thinking about this a lot, that I really want to find where is the happy medium for me, where I have these desires of who I want to be and what I want to bring into my life. But I'm not putting a ton of pressure on myself that it like has to happen, or I'm not a good enough person, or I got to prove myself, or that I'm going to miss out on life or anything like super, super heavy. But at the same time, I want to put enough pressure on myself that I actually, or enough discipline into the process that I actually follow through on the plan. Because the fun part of it is thinking about the outcome of, if I could be this kind of person, think of all the fun it would be to have this much money, or to be in better health, or have more energy. And then again, like I said earlier, the friction becomes when I show up in the morning, or I show up for that routine. Sometimes I don't want to do it. And I have no resistance to putting lotion on my body. There's no like, I don't want to do it. It's just a matter of remembering to do it. But when it comes to exercising, I have massive amounts of resistance, even though I never regret it when I have done exercise. I've never finished an exercise session or a session on the treadmill and thought, God, I wish I hadn't done that. Except maybe like if I get injured. um, okay. So can the same people that do your nails do your feet too? Once every 2 weeks doing my feet is not going to cut it. Like every time I go in to get my feet, my pedicure done, they always are like, you need to be putting lotion and Vaseline on your feet. Cause it just, after 2 weeks, it's just right back to the same. So it like needs a healing thing, which means daily stuff from me. That's stop talking about my feet now. So yeah, so what do you do? And that I think is the big question that I wanted to kind of bring up and talk about today, because I am noticing a few things in terms of what do you do? So one thing is also thinking, what do you don't do? What do you not do? And one of the not do is trying to do it all at once. Because if you try to stack 50 new habits on and you make it really important that you follow through with this just because you want to get there faster, you're so much more likely to fall off the wagon, especially if you're like me and you have a all or nothing mentality. If you know yourself well enough to know that if you try to do 10 things, let's say you create a morning routine that's 10 things, and then you miss the first one, you just aren't going to do the rest of them because you already failed, right? That's often the way that I am. And so it's like, okay, I have to find the discomfort in myself to say, okay, I'm just going to go slower, which can be difficult, but got to do it. The next part of it is, we kind of talked about this in a previous coffee chat, but the next part of it is being okay with being uncomfortable. And I think a lot of times when people talk about manifesting specifically, and we talk about energy and we talk about inviting it into your life and like doors opening and signs and all of that, it sounds like as long as you can get your energy in the right place and you can open your heart and you can draw it to you like a magnet, those doors will open and everything will come true, right? And I think there is truth in that. And I've seen that in my life in terms of certain pieces of it. But there is the other piece that doesn't get talked about as often, which is not all of manifesting is going to be easy flow, like everything just comes to you, right? There's the action that has to take place. And at some point, the reason that we are not living our full dream manifested life right now is because we have not been willing to just take the action and do the work that makes us uncomfortable or that creates friction in our lives. And I think that this is where I want to caveat the conversation by saying some of us are not in places where we can push through, right? Some of us are in seasons of our lives where we need softness. We need to only speak kindly to ourselves and we need to only give ourselves grace, and that recognize that this is not a place where we're going to really grow big or achieve big things from. We just need rest and we need to give ourselves a break. But some of us are also, if you're like me, in places where there are things and actions in your heart that you need to be doing and taking, and you're just not doing it because you don't want to. And it's time to have a little meeting with yourself to say, it's time for me to get over this and to figure it out. And I think that at the core of it, for a lot of us, this is the one thing keeping us from manifesting everything we've ever wanted, is the figuring out of how do I actually follow through on the things that I don't want to do, the things that feel hard, the things that feel resistance to, that we know we should be doing. And it's I think part of the reason a lot of us don't talk about it is because it is a difficult thing to make sure that you don't, because I think it can be a damaging conversation for people who are not in this space where you're like, so I know that I'm coming at you with love right now, but this is just a meeting of the minds for those of you that are feeling this way, but also know that I'm sending love to anybody who just isn't in a place right now to like do the hard things, because you're okay too. But I'm just saying, like, we could spend our entire lives being unwilling to do the hard things and then look back and say, oh, I had so much potential and what did I do with my life? And I think there is grace for sure, but there's also a point to know now is my go time. And this is where intuition becomes so important, and shadow work. Shadow work is wonderful. Journals, you can get prompts you can find online, journal on the prompt or meditate them. And, the truth isn't that you should get rid of your shadow. The truth is to integrate your shadow and learn to pull your strength from that and to understand how strong you are and to understand why you are the way you are. But for me, so much of like shadow work, manifesting for the past several years, it has been great, but it has been all in my head. And even though I'm showing up for the big projects and I'm putting my thoughts out there and all those things, what have I not been doing? I have not been taking care of my body the way that I have wanted to manage my PCOS. And the older I get, the more important that becomes. And there's going to be a point someday where there's no turning back, where I will say, if I don't get my butt in gear, I'm going to turn around one day and be like, man, even if I had just taken tiny baby steps, it would have made a big difference. And now it's too late for me to change. Second is I haven't been writing, and I have tried to put in the time. I've tried to show up for it, but it has just been like a mark on my calendar, but it has not been identity for me over the past couple of years. So is this conversation hitting hard? Are we enjoying this conversation? Is anybody freaking out? I'm a little nervous because I'm like, am I hurting people's feelings? I hope not, because I do agree that there is a time for grace, and I do believe that there is value in thinking through all the things and giving ourselves that grace. But also, when is it? How do you know when it's time to just put down the journaling and freaking get on the treadmill, or put down the journaling and just clear out your closet, whatever it is for you, just sit down and do the freaking writing. And I kind of had a moment where, really the moment for me was Monday morning. And I kind of talked about this on my stories, or I guess maybe Sunday was the day. Eat the Frog. Yes, what is that? Is there a book called Eat the Frog? Where does that come from? There's somebody's philosophy that talks about Eat the Frog, which is kind of like do the thing you don't want to do. And that's where you should start the day. Oh no, you're crying. I'm sorry, Joey. Stop writing about it and just do it. So for me, it's a book. Okay. I was thinking it was a book. Well, yeah, so Roseanne says there's grace and then there's denial. There's grace and then there's excuses. There's And the truth is the excuses could be real. Like, I really did stay up really late last night. But if I allow it, there will be something every single day of my life that will keep me too tired to get up in the morning. And unless I make a decision that I'm going to make a change here, it's not ever going to happen. Like, no one is going to come in and change my wake up schedule for me. Nobody is going to come in and force me to eat right so that I don't have PCOS flare ups and pain. Like, nobody else is going to do that for me. And like it or not, my body is different from some other people's bodies, and I'm going to have to take care of it. That's my job. I am the steward of this body, and it's my responsibility to take care of it, even if it isn't like feel fair to me that I have to give up some of the things that I love or whatever it may be. Um, I don't like sweating. I don't like it. Some people love the dopamine release or serotonin or whatever it is, all the hormones that come from working out. Some people just live for it and they love it. I cannot stand to work out. I hate it. I would love to dance. That would be the only kind of like workout I would enjoy doing, I think. But I can see the benefits of when I have taken more walks in my life, not only getting out in nature, but also, getting on the treadmill or whatever. There's huge benefits to it, but I don't ever want to do it. I'm never going to wake up one day and go, gosh, I just really love to work out. I just don't see that happening. But it is something that I am going to need to do, because it is important for my health. And so I think I'm just still trying to work out. But okay, let me tell you what happened this week. So I have my writing journal, right? This this is just for all of my plot. And if you haven't seen it, those of you that don't follow my Heart Breathings channel, which I don't think there's many of you here that don't, but for those of you that don't, I have like timelines and plots in here and sticky notes and just all the good secrets are in here. All my plot, all this stuff. But a lot of what I have written in this over the last year has just been like working through the same problems over and over and over again. And it's like mentally, I feel like I can't write until I've got the problem figured out, until I've got the perfect solution to the twist. And this book, Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, is complicated. And I get mad at myself because I'm like, why did I choose something so complex when I was trying to write something fast so that I could get back into writing? It kind of backfired on me, but it's just the way that my brain works, right? I needed to challenge myself. And this book is complicated. There's 8 or 9 points of view, depending on how you look at it. There's dual timelines, and every single person that is there that night has a secret that nobody else knows but Vanessa. And Vanessa's gone. She's disappeared. And so I have to time the dual timelines with when the reader finds out the secret versus when did Vanessa find out versus when does this character find out? When does it come out in the current timeline? And then it's also a murder mystery. And it's my first ever standalone book. It's hard. And so I've spent a lot of time just like writing down clues and trying to figure it out in my head. And sometimes I've had like moments of clarity, but it hasn't just completely opened itself to me and been perfect, right? And I think part of why I haven't been sitting down to write as much is because I'm scared that I don't have all the answers, right? So Monday, my good friend Ines Johnson, some of you know her. She comes from a screenwriting background. She's an incredible author. She writes under multiple pen names. And Leslie Penelope, who also is a fantasy author. She's also incredible. I love these women. They write together in the mornings. And they asked me last year, would I come write with them on Zoom or whatever? And I only joined them a couple of times, because even though I said writing is my priority in the mornings, I wasn't actually making it my priority. I would sit down sometimes and I would journal, but I wasn't actually like really showing up and giving my whole heart to the writing. I would sit down, I would be like, "Oh, I should make some content. Let me make a reel real quick. Let me check my email. Let me do this." Because it felt uncomfortable for me to sit down and do the writing because I didn't feel confident that the writing was going to come together. And it didn't feel good to write because I would end a writing session feeling like I'm so far behind. It's not coming together. Why is this so difficult? I'm getting to a lesson here in a second. So Ines sent me a message and said, we are writing in the mornings. You're still welcome to come join us. And I wasn't able to do it the week before because Evie had been sick and all that. But when Monday came along this week, I was like, well, really, Sunday night when I was making my plan, I was like, you know what? I'm going to show up every day to write this week. Come hell or high water, unless one of my children needs me, I'm going to be writing, whether it feels good, whether it doesn't feel good, whether it's uncomfortable, whether it sucks, whether it's the worst thing I've ever done in my life in terms of writing, I'm going to show up at this time. And so I said between 8 and 9:30, I gave myself kind of a range so that I didn't feel like a failure if it wasn't 8:30 on the dot. Most days it ended up being around 8:45. So in my journaling with the ritual planner on Monday morning, which I've started doing this in the morning with that planner, just drawing a tarot card from this deck. Um, what what card did I draw Monday morning? Now I can't remember what card I drew Monday morning, but I wrote in the ritual journal, if just showing up for my writing and following this path is the right path, and I am like, I just need a little bit of encouragement from you, universe. Just tell me that it's going to all work out. Right. And so I said, okay, I don't want to show up because it was my first day with Evie going back to school. I was tired. I had a mountain of work to do outside of my writing. But I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it regardless of whether I feel like it. I'm going to make a big old coffee and I'm going to show up. So I got there about 8:45. And over the course of this week, I have filled in. So this is the whole year last year. And this is just over the course of the last 5 days. I have filled in this much more. Like percentage wise, look how much work I have gotten done. I have finished the final round of edits, not final round of edits, the previous round of edits, and have moved into the final round of edits. I have created a whole new map. I've had 3 massive breakthroughs this week. Not because anything else changed, but just because I said, I'm not going to let myself down. I don't care what else is going on. There are only 5 days in the week, and 3 out of the 5, I almost got back into bed. Like so close. I thought I'm just going to text Ines, tell her I'm not feeling well. I have a headache. Because of course that was the other thing. It's like as soon as I make a decision that I'm going to show up early and my child gets healthy, I started my cycle and I was super tired and crampy. I'm like, why did that have to come 5 days early? It's like there's always some kind of excuse as to why you're not going to feel good, right? But I showed up for that Monday writing session, even though I was tired, even though I was cramping and had to have my heating pad on my stomach. I did not feel great, but I did it. I showed up and we wrote for almost 3 hours. And at the almost end of the session, Ines says, well, I got to go get some lunch because all I've been eating all morning is cherries. And I was like, what did you just say? And she held up a cherry with a stem and said, yeah, I've just been eating cherries all morning while we've been writing. And I literally got off that call and just started laughing and crying and like, okay, okay, universe, I see you. I see you. And I know you see me too. Because for me, this was the thing. And then, again, Tuesday morning, I did not feel like it. I didn't want to get up. I was tired. I had a headache. I showed up anyway, again on Wednesday, again on Thursday, and again today, even though it was just me and Theodora Taylor. If you know her, she's the butter queen. Theodora and I were on there today, just the two of us. And we had a great time and I got more writing done before I went to get my nails done. And just showing up for my writing, suddenly the floodgates started to open and it became more fun and it became easier. So part of what I want to say before we go, that I've kind of been, I don't know how eloquently or not I've been able to get it out there. But part of what I want to say to you is this: when you tap into your intuition, and you let go of the noise of what other people expect of you or the mistakes you've made in the past, and you let go of all that negative self-talk or someone else's voice in your head, and you just get quiet for yourself and you say, okay, what season am I in? Where do I feel the tug of my heart? Is there something that my inner being, that God, that the universe is saying to me and whispering in my ear right now? And the message may be different for you than it is for me, probably will be. But if you are hearing a message of no more excuses, it's your time to move. Let's start taking action. No more journaling, no more figuring it out, no more planning. It's time to go. Then I want to give you this encouragement that it's sometimes the hardest part is just the showing up. Just the showing up. It's going to be uncomfortable. You might not want to do it. You might not want to sweat. You might not want to face the discomfort of the story isn't coming together. You might be tired. You might have 1,000 reasons why it isn't convenient. But if you feel the whisper of the universe that now is the time for action, and you can see or get clear, however you need to, about what action it's time to take, I promise you the return on taking those steps will be faster than you could imagine. Even though it's a silly, crazy, like, example, I have my evening routine, the difference in my foot care, just 12 days, massive up level. Like, George can hardly believe it, like, massive up level. My writing, I put the energy there. I didn't feel like it. I didn't feel like happy, like, oh, I'm manifesting my writing. I just showed up. I showed up grumpy. I showed up in a bad mood. I showed up with no makeup, with my hair in a crazy ponytail, but I showed up, and massive things began to shift for me almost right away, because I put out in the universe that it's not just what I desire and it's not just what I plan for. It's who I am, and I'm showing up as that. And I'm showing up with the expectation that if I come, like, if you build it, they will come. If I show up, what is waiting for me will begin to appear in my life. And I think the truth is that this can be true for anything. Even if you feel right now that, like, oh my gosh, I am not, like, I'm in a bad money situation. I don't know where I'm going to do this. I hate my job, all those things. If you continue on in an energy of, I know I need to get my house clean. I know I need to look at my numbers. I know I need to pay this bill, but I can't, and I don't feel like it. And I don't, like, there could be any number of situations that you might be in that feel kind of hopeless. And sometimes we feel like it's such a mountain that we have to climb to get to the other side of it, because we have to solve all these problems. But the truth is, and this is something I truly believe about energy and about manifesting. Hey, sweet girl, you want to come sit with me? You want to say hi? Is that if you can get yourself to a place where you just say, I don't want to do it, and I can't do all of this, but this is the one thing I'm going to commit to. And maybe it's something like, I'm just going to show up. I'm just going to show up, and I'm going to trust that the writing will come. I'm going to try to have some fun. It is a pink shirt. Do you like it?
Is it new?
No, it's not new.
I had never seen you wear this.
You haven't? Do you like it? I've seen you wear this. We're both in Walmart fashion today. Say hi. Are you feeling better? Oh, here she goes with her crazy faces again. But if you can get quiet and listen to the whispers, there is something in your intuition. If you're able to give yourself enough peace to hear it, that I believe, will get a message that will say, this is the thing. This is where you start. And it can be something as simple as a little bit of a morning routine. It could be a new habit. It could be showing up for your writing. It could be just cleaning out the closet to fix the energy in this one space. It could be just taking the leap and saying the thing that needs to be said that you've known you needed to say, or stand up for yourself in this way. That's not chocolate, it's matches. It could be, finally telling someone the truth about something. I don't know what it might be for you, but if you get quiet enough, I think that especially right now, we're in this new moon, which is supposed to be a restful new moon period. We're kind of just past it. It was yesterday. And there's something magical about that 111 new moon. And I did have a moment, I posted on my Instagram stories where I looked down and it was January 11th at 1:11 p.m. What are you doing? There's no chocolate in there. But I truly feel like you will hear that whisper of your own intuition that will tell you where to start. And you will be amazed at the domino effect that just taking that one action will have. And I think sometimes when we say, well, these are all the things I need to fix in my life, we pile so much on that we set ourselves up for disappointment, which is just another form of self-sabotage. So instead of trying to do all the things, just say, what's the one thing? Just ask your tarot cards, ask God, ask in your prayers, ask in your meditation, whatever practice that you have, even if it's your journaling, and just say, what is the one place that I can start? And commit to it and do it, whether you feel like it or not, whether it feels good or doesn't feel good. Just show up and get it done. And I promise you, you're going to start to see results and change your energy. Yeah. I'll come out and paint with you, okay? George comes to take her away. Like, if she would realize, he wouldn't do that if she wasn't like saying chocolate 50 times. So anyway, maybe I could draw a tarot card for us for the new moon. Also, I had mentioned in the group that Amazon sent me randomly like 20 paperbacks or something like that were glossy. And I'm kind of disappointed in how much I like them, but they were not meant to be glossy. They were supposed to be matte. So I don't have like a full set of anything. I have Witch's Key. I have a ton of like Emerald Darkness, some Death's Awakening, some other things like that. But I'm going to be giving away this glossy copy of the Witch's Key. I'm not going to do it here live. I'm going to do it on the replay. But I will include the live chat when I go to make a choice of a winner. But if you were here live and you made a comment, but you also want a second entry, as soon as this is over, you can comment on the replay as well, because it'll like reset and there'll be just comments on my regular YouTube channel that will give you a second entry. So I will give this away and I will announce a winner before next Friday's coffee chat. And I'm just going to slowly give away those 20 copies, and it's open internationally, and it does look good glossy. I'm kind of like, oh man, maybe we need to do second editions with glossy. Hopefully by next week too, we will have some bookcases in here. Cause that's another thing that I'm doing is shifting, not just shifting my energy about showing up and following through, trying to understand, when do I just need to give myself grace and do the rest that I know I need to take? And when do I need to push through, so to speak? I don't know that push is a good word, but when do I need to just show up for the promises I made? And trying to listen to my own intuition and find that balance. But also, getting like, another thing I've been hearing in my mind is just simplify, not necessarily get rid of all my stuff, because I'm never going to be a minimalist. I am a maximalist at heart, but to just raise my energy. Oh, persist is such a good word. Persist is a great word. I saw, who was it said that they stayed up late reading The Trouble with Goodbye? Thank you for that. Are you filming the process of the office change? I am a little bit, but there's also been a moment that I was maximalism for the win, where I was kind of like, I couldn't be bothered with it, because I was like, I just want to get it done. So I am filming the process, but I didn't film every detail of it. So I will have a video on that. So, okay, let's draw just a group new moon card and we'll see what pops out. What do we as a group need to know in reflection of this conversation that we've just had? Okay, a card just turned upside down in here. Oh, I see. I love this card. I feel like this is like the third time we've gotten this card as a group. It just completely turned itself around in the deck, which is the Three of Cups. So this is my reminder to you. It even matches my color scheme in my office. Screenshot. Ching. Wink. Sorry. Oh, a lot of laughing today. Three of Cups. We've had this card before as a group. This card is just really partially knowing whatever you're going through, you're not going through it alone. Like lean on your community, celebrate with us here. Know that you've got us as your community. Know that you have this family behind you, whether you've met us in person or not. We have this relationship and this community that we've built online. So just knowing that you don't have to go it alone, that you can lean on the people that are here for you in this community and in your own life. And also celebrate your wins. Like this, one of the most beautiful things about the Heart Breathings and Sarra Cannon communities that we've built here together is that we 100% celebrate every single win, and we celebrate differences of opinions. We celebrate whether you wrote 100 words, whether you got nothing done but you still showed up, whether you just didn't give up, whether you weren't able to write for 6 years and now you're just coming back, or whether you wrote 5 or 10 novels this year. Like we celebrate every step of the process. So Three of Cups is your reminder to lean on your friends here in this community, to know that you're not alone no matter what, and that you've got this. So listen to your intuition and reach out if you need support. So that was a good coffee chat. I hope what we talked about today resonated with you. This was a good conversation. This was something that was on my mind a lot. And it was really nice to talk about. So thank you for letting me share it. This deck is the Light Seers deck. It looks like this on the back, and get the Three of Swords out of here. I hate that card. It is a sort of multicultural card deck that is similar in imagery to the Rider-Waite in terms of like it still has some of the same themes, but it's obviously modern version of it. It's one of my favorite decks. I love it. Right. I love you all. Thank you so much. Next week we will be back, and it will be technically my birthday weekend, I guess. I think it's the 19th is next Friday. So over in the Heart Breathings writing community, we'll be in our virtual writing retreat. It will also be the opening of Publish and Thrive. So if you've been looking forward to joining that, or if you're an alumni, you can join us again for free. So that class will open next week for the first time in a year, which is very exciting. And then my birthday is that following week on the 23rd. So it's going to be a fun couple of weeks. So thanks for joining us. If you're not subscribed and you want to be able to comment and hang out with us, then go ahead and hit subscribe, and I will see you all later. If you are in a blizzard right now, I'm sending you all my love. Please stay safe. And I will see you all over on social media or here next week. All right. All my love to you. Happy Friday. Now I got to find my outro. Here we go. Happy Friday, everybody.